call the meeting to order. October 31st, Halloween, 2018. We're going to begin with an invocation. And we don't have Mickey here. He has better invocations than I do, but I'll give it a shot. Heavenly Father, we are here to do the business of the people. We are an important component of their ability to have a high-quality life. Our staff work very hard to deliver our services in a timely way, in a courteous way, in a way that meets their needs. We give thanks to you for the efforts that our staff make and administration, and we ask your assistance in being productive and useful in today's meeting. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Okay. We've changed the flag for those of you that were going the wrong direction. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're going to do a swearing in of our new board member, Heather Edwards. So Heather, could you come forward? I'm going to get out of the way so there can be a picture of the flag as well. Who's got a camera?
Everyone.
Hold on, wait, Michelle's coming with a camera.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Heather Edwards,
I, Heather Edwards,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will uphold the Constitution and bylaws
that I will uphold the Constitution and bylaws
of the Waccamaw Regional Transportation Authority,
of the Waccamaw Regional Transportation Authority,
that I will support the goals of the authority
that I will support the goals of the authority
and abide by the wishes of the majority of board members,
and abide by the wishes of the majority of board members,
that I will not allow my private interest
that I will not allow my private interest
to influence my conduct in authority matters,
to influence my conduct in authority matters,
that I will faithfully perform the duties of my office
that I will faithfully perform the duties of my office
to the best of my
to
ability.
the best of my ability.
Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right. And we are present today a full board, which is nice. We've had a couple of gaps as positions need to be refilled. Can we do roll call, Ms. Lynette?
We certainly may.
We typically run to about 11:15,
Okay.
11,
No problem.
thereabouts.
All right, it was nice meeting everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you can't see the clock
Heather
here.
Edwards,
New clock.
Daryl Eichhoff,
Here.
Wilbur James, Willie Jean Johnson,
Oh, Brian, you don't like the clock.
Marvin King,
Look there in a minute and get me a bus.
Joseph Lazara,
Here.
Rob Sheehan,
Here.
Bernard Silverman,
Here.
Randall Wallace,
Here.
Ivory Wilson.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Wonderful. We had, well, until a minute ago, we had two visitors. We had Heather's mother here, Donna Edwards, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Seems like a very nice person. And we have Charles Perry here, who is a reporter for the Ori Independent. Usually we give space and time for our guests to make any comments they would like. Charles, you're here on the workload, so if you're here just to listen, that's fine too.
I'm here just to listen.
Okay. Well, I have to admit, I really do love the Ori Independent. It gives coverage in this community that I don't see in any other vehicle for. So we're pleased to see that.
And I love it so much too. I always look for good news about Coastin.
I like police report.
Boy, he's buttering you up.
All right. So we have no public comment. Mr. Chairman, or Mr. General Manager, GM, do we have any employee recognition today?
Not today.
Not today? Okay. All right, we have an agenda in front of you. Do we have any suggestions for edit or amendment to the agenda?
I move we approve the agenda.
So move.
Moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Moving on. Approval of the minutes from the September meeting.
I approve them.
We think we get her point.
Move that we approve.
I moved that we approve
we have a move and a second. Marvin, was that you seconding?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, all those in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The minutes have been approved. We're now gonna move to the committee reports. MBTC, what the hell is that? Oh, it's not, I was trying to find a committee that had MBTC.
Ivory Wilson transfer, that's what you were.
I would have seen it if it was Ivory
Yeah, we
Wilson.
should probably do IWTC.
Yeah.
We'll change that.
Yeah.
My bad.
You should seek every recognition while you're alive. I don't think I hear much afterwards, so.
IWTC.
Report on the Ivory Wilson and Myrtle Beach Transit Center, please.
Well, Mr. Chairman, Brian has done a wonderful job of presenting the information for us. So, unless there are questions.
Yeah, I guess I got a little bit more of an update since some things have happened out there, but yes, you will all receive the slideshow that we did for the 2 committee meetings from last week, so
No.
rather than.
It's in your
packet.
It's in your packet.
Oh, my packet.
Rather than rehash everything that was said, they started installing the floor, the new flooring yesterday, and I think today and tomorrow they're putting all the furniture back in, putting the sink back in, the partitions in the bathrooms, getting all that stuff squared away, putting the benches back in.
When do you hope it's open?
We're hoping to open it Monday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
If anyone is interested, there is a picture, at least there was a picture there, yes, of what the current interim solution looks like on page 5.
Yeah.
Look for a really ugly white car. And then behind it, you will see what looks like a large storage
I
box.
think that's nice, that car should be in a parade.
It's a storage box that people have been working out of apparently.
Yes, so there is an office and a storage unit inside that container. So you can see the power going to it, so it's got electricity and internet and the whole 9 yards.
That's the
So
post
we didn't miss a beat with CSR,
And we provided a restroom.
and we had restrooms that are behind it. And so I think all in all, the repairs have gone pretty well. We definitely found more there than we were hoping for, but it's all behind us now and we're ready to reopen.
Come under
What is that?
25,000.
Yes,
What is
but
that?
including all
Container.
that container has an office in it and storage.
Is it gonna stay there?
Oh, no, it's
Oh.
temporary.
Oh, it's temporary,
just-
oh,
it's-
okay.
We
Oh,
ran
while they
our,
were
we ran
working on the
CSR
inside.
while they're working on the inside.
Okay, all right, now I got it.
Like a
So,
shipping
including the
container.
rental for all of that material, all that stuff, under 25.
That's good.
Might be under 20, but I haven't seen all numbers yet.
Man, all this. And you did say it would be within budget. because it's not-
Yeah, very much so,
Yes.
like closer to 20,000 than 30,000,
Good.
which is what we had set aside.
Look at this, you don't have to give a report, it's all written out.
And Brian, there was some discussion that you were going to attempt to do an opening, a ribbon cutting for the signage at the same time you were going to do the reopening of the transit center. Are you still thinking that?
Yeah, I don't think that's what we were saying. I think we were saying that since the transit center is going to be reopened, that now becomes the best spot to do the ribbon cutting for the bus stops.
I think that's good.
So yeah, I mean, I think we're still on board with that. We are waiting on polls for the bus stops. It should be very soon, but we do not have a date, so we're even considering changing suppliers if they don't hurry up here. So, but we're working on that. So that is the controlling factor on when we can do this ribbon cutting, but we'll be putting some information out to everybody and let you know when we want to do it, where we want to do it, and pretty excited about getting that project rolling here in the next couple weeks.
Is there gonna be a bus sign at the transit center,
Just like this one.
just like that one? Okay.
You can pass this around again if you like. Would you like to see it?
That's right, that's right.
We had passed it.
You didn't see it?
No, I said we passed it around. at
And
the
is
committee.
that on a metal,
That will be on the middle pole.
Okay.
He-
They
And they'll
don't have
put
the
their,
ID,
and they're
the
putting
unique
their,
ID number.
and they're putting their poles in the ground.
And the number of the route will be in that open space at the bottom there. We have
Great,
stickies for that.
We're gonna be big boy transit if it kills Michelle.
I know.
She looks pretty good.
Yeah, it should be fine.
I think
She's
she'll
gonna
make
make it. She's gonna make it. So we also talked about entertainment shuttle.
We did.
More to come on that, but we got some pretty good information about on the survey. It did a couple things for me. One, it verified the information that came out of the 2016 survey. And basically the same stats came out of both surveys, which is good. Pretty consistent service like everything else around here. Nothing ever changed, no matter how much things change.
It's right after page 6 of the Myrtle Beach Transit Center one.
A shout out and complete thanks. Maybe I should have done employee of the employee recognition for Dr. Sheehan, since he did this nice work on the survey.
Poor Michelle, she's done an awful lot.
Yeah, and Michelle's done a lot.
Yep.
Michelle's got her day coming. She'll be good.
Yeah, notice you've
We'll
been
see.
giving you
I'm gonna
accolades
surprise you.
over
I'm gonna
here.
surprise you.
Well, we had almost 1,000 people responding to the survey, so
Really?
Right.
952.
Yeah.
So we could tell you who's going to win the presidency for 952 surveys.
We could.
Really?
Statistically speaking, yes.
Don't count on
But some things that jumped out at me is that people would be willing to pay a fare if we decide to go that way. We had quite a bit of discussion on that. More to come on future PAC meeting to kind of hash out that strategy here in pretty short order. We need to have some decisions made probably by that December meeting of the PAC.
December.
I think it's December 12th for the
That's
next.
the board meeting.
Yeah, we're doing everything that day.
The big committee That's meeting what I and asked the board meeting.
And it's worth noting that the satisfaction levels of the respondents were so high, they were topping out with a ceiling of a score of 6. I've never seen people that happy on any kind of a survey. Generally, you use a survey to bash people, and in this particular case, even the people that might have been a little bit late for work or late coming home from work are still giving extremely high ratings to the entertainment shuttle. So if anything, it's reversed my position. I was willing to play poker last year with the entertainment shuttle if we didn't get other funding for it to suggest that we not run the service. But now I think it is an integral part of what we are doing. It is well received. It actually makes me want to do some type of a survey or see a survey done of the rest of our services throughout the year, because if they come away this positive, it's a real affirmation to our drivers and everybody else that's involved.
Are they drinking?
Many of them.
Well, they're on vacation. Vacation.
Actually, for the most part, no.
Michelle,
Either that or they had
Michelle
high
met them and did a
tolerance.
breath test, and they were all sober.
Well, because you had so many families, that was the thing too.
Yeah,
You know, or Jay was
That's
returning from work and weren't necessarily on the party scene yet.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
Well, and here's the image I have. Michelle's out there trying to, pass out these surveys, and onto the bus climbs a woman who was hauling a toddler inside a stroller and has a backpack or a front pack with an infant on there, no husband involved, but is clearly trying to find something to do in the area, perhaps while the husband is playing golf, and has this free service available to them, and all the relief about trying to park your car goes away. And they actually think and thought that the trolleys were clean, that it was safe, that it was a responsive
These old
existence.
I would just ride it all day if that was me.
Well,
And you
I
did
just-
have some of those that we would have to keep asking them to
Delete.
delete.
Yeah.
A few of them, I'm like,
So,
we
yeah.
got.
So we're fully informed on that service, and we have a lot to bring to the city and others in the Hospitality Association on trying to make improvements and continue that service. I skipped over customer service assessment with Erica. Yeah, we've implemented call recording on our phone system, and we're going to start getting a lot more information about the purpose of calls, what people are calling for, the impact of the app on calling in, things like that, that we just don't have the data for, and then a little bit more, a lot more trend analysis on complaints, and not focusing so much on what I would call verified complaints, but at least looking at, you know, what the topic is when someone's having an issue out there. So more on that, you know, moving forward. And so the last thing on PAC we talked about was the bus stop designation program. We've already sort of touched on that. We're waiting on the polls. We're about to give AECom notice to proceed on this task order 2 to do. They'll be basically putting a sign out here, putting a sign at the Ivory Wilson Transit Center, and then doing Route 10, which is our first foray into it. About 40 signs, on our way to 415 over the course of the next couple of years or so.
And do we have a date that they were promised and now it's late, or they just, we don't have it?
We don't, I mean, they're ready to go. I mean, like I said, the controlling factor is the polls.
Oh, they're waiting on the
We don't have a date, which is why we're gonna try to get a date today if
Do
we
we
can.
know where they're coming from?
I don't.
China.
It's
Yeah.
a state contract.
If it's China, we're up a creek.
Yeah, I mean, it's a state contract, so you kinda gotta put up with a little bit of this. We have another source if we need to, so we'll, you know, and all I need to do is get 40 here.
And you did get the grant for $280,000 to pay
Yeah,
for
that's
these
all in
first
place.
40?
That's all in place, and we got the local match from Georgetown County.
And if you don't do the state contract, you don't have to have an RFP and whatnot?
Well, they're under 10,000, so you can do quotes.
Is there anything else gonna be on that poll except that sign?
That's it. That's it. That's all we need.
It'll be a new generation for Coast RTA.
Big boy transit.
Very good.
Should have been done years ago.
And how about the places on Route 10 where there's shelters? Can they hang them on shelters?
Potentially. We'll look for opportunities to co-locate our sign on another pole, but that requires an extra step typically to whoever owns that pole. So a lot of it's Safety Cooper and other places, but we will look for those opportunities, but I think our goal is to put our own pole out there. It's a breakaway pole. It's got a channel that's embedded in the ground, and then the pole sticks down in it. And
How close is it to the road?
it's going to vary, but pretty close. It'll be right behind curb.
God bless us.
So we'll see. I'm looking forward to getting that thing going.
Okay, any other comments
full
from
meeting.
Service Pack?
And well run, by the way. The chair was awesome.
We're getting a little pissing match here, Mike Bueno. Somebody, AGM, who I will not name, indicated that prior chair gave the best meetings that he had ever been to last week, so. All right, let's move on to our second best committee meeting, which is our Finance Committee. Marvin, are you still there? Marvin,
He's
is he
out of
on-
town.
Is he on mute, maybe, in a second?
He talked a minute ago, the second for one.
Marvin, are you possibly on mute?
Good illusion.
If you are, it is mute.
It is there.
Okay, we got you, Marvin.
He's middle of teaching.
Mark? That's okay, we're gonna, we'll let Brian do the bulk of introducing the Finance Committee report and call you in as needed, as you're available.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, thank you for that. I know it's kind of weird for the phone.
Yep.
So obviously, there's a lot going on as it relates to how we were trying to redirect how we spend money, basically. That's probably the best way of putting it. And so I grouped all of these bullets here on page 10 of the slideshow as all impacting our revenue and expense line items. Starting off with fare box issues, we found that in the period from September 1st through August 31st, September 1st, 17 through August 31st, 18, 15.6% of the trips performed on fixed route were free, were done free, 72,000 free trips. And I think going into it, I was concerned that it was our late bus procedure was the big culprit, and Candace was worried that it was going to be the fare boxes, and I won. 2/3 of these are fare box issues. And, you know, not going into the gory details that are on page 12 on all the things that can go wrong with a fare box, but we are going to put in a plan to start doing a little bit more preventive maintenance on our fare box units, because we have to live with them for a period, you know, a fairly lengthy period of time before we're gonna A, have the money, and B, be able to figure out what's the best way to collect fares on our system, with all sorts of factors going into it, reducing cash handling and simplifying and optimizing the fare structure and things like that. So in the meantime, we took our archive room and converted it into a fare box maintenance facility. And you're welcome to come back and see it. I'm sure Candace would love to show it off. But you know, for 72,000 trips, that relates to about $41,000 in revenue. So, you know, obviously we're gonna have to throw some money at this, but I'm hopeful that, you know, maybe a $10,000 to $15,000 investment in the fare boxes will generate another $41,000 in
Didn't
revenue.
you have a couple of people go for training too in
Right, and
airbox maintenance?
Yes, we did. So we have a lot more knowledge, internal knowledge on A, what can go wrong, B, how to fix it. We will take a new mentality for fare boxes in terms of replacing the entire components in a fare box when it goes down, pulling the one that is broken down out, putting a new set in, so that we really minimize the amount of time that the fare box isn't working. And always have, you know, 2 or 3 ready to go whenever we need one. So hopefully that will improve the problem, and we should see increase in revenue as a
So
result.
I'll tell you something about the fare boxes. When we first got them, I think in 2010, all the transfers and all the day passes and all that were that waxy hard covered card.
Right.
The same card that's now the 15-day pass. And they had a little picture on it. It wasn't the exact same thing. And then when, I believe maybe we reordered them one time or something, and then the other ones, the ones that were using that soft paper, were
Yeah.
cheaper, and we started buying them. And that may be one of our problems, you know, you say there, I forget the word you used, how the car, they're always hitting these cars in attack, you know, the drivers are up.
Oh, yeah, they get stuck. I mean, it's a humidity issue
Yeah.
more than anything else. But yes, we'll look at other paper options.
And they were more expensive, and they didn't have a picture, they don't need a picture. And the 15-day passes used to have a coast picture, now they just are printed. So there's a way to reduce the expense of that, but that may be an option that might help a little bit.
So-
You pay a little more money for the paper.
Stop.
Yeah, like the transfers are uncoded
If you
completely.
pay a little more money for the paper,
Right.
you'll lose less money.
Yeah, that would be something to look at, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's on the list. There's a list of things that we're going to explore here on slide 13. So then we talked about compensation plan, which is a work in progress. I think we have a lot of work to do on this topic. I want to have better information for the board on what a wage increase, what the impact a wage increase has on the budget. We have moved people around, we've moved the chess pieces around quite a bit, so we need a new organizational chart. You know, I've got some target areas of improvements, insurance claims, safety training, things like that we don't do a good enough job on that we need to improve. And a renewed focus on staff performance. We need to reward drivers for accident-free driving. We need to, look at administrators and how they're, how efficient they are and those types of things. So I think across the board, looking at the staff performance and then making adjustments based on that performance with some accountability. So it's something that it's going to take us a little bit of time to do it, but I think you mentioned to me that you want to award this to compensation committee.
Right, and Ivory and Darrell in particular, and I think Mr. Wilson, you could delegate it to Darrell, who's on your committee. It seems as though we need a board committee to provide some oversight for the compensation plan. You've got pretty much responsibility for compensation vis-a-vis the chair, or the GM rather. We went back and looked at the minutes the other day. There's nothing that would restrict us from suggesting that the compensation committee of the board provide guidance and oversight for the compensation plan before it comes to the board itself. And so if you are willing to have that expansion of responsibility, so now we're not talking about compensation just of the GM, but compensation of the, within the authority, I'd like to ask that you that you take that under your wing and provide that support for that before it comes back to the full board.
You did have other members, you had Edgerton and Burroughs on your, and I was on it.
Yeah,
You had a committee, yeah, you had a committee.
Well, we have a committee. The question is, what is the
You have a committee now?
responsibility
Yeah.
of the committee? And the responsibility is not spelled out in the bylaws.
But if he goes into, if you go into the chairmanship, can you still be on the committee for that?
That's a year away.
Oh, is it really, I'm trying to push it.
Year and a half.
Oh, and the chairman is on all committees, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
So,
right.
You better, you go.
So that would be, I think that would be useful. Again,
I like that idea.
Yep, the bylaws do not specify the responsibility of each committee. It says it's up to the board. So this makes some sense.
I do
Well,
too.
now, this would be implemented by you, right?
It actually says it's up to the board chair.
Yep. Okay.
I think it's an excellent idea.
Yeah, because what we don't want is Bernie pulled out one from years and years ago, so much minute level, more than we ever need
Oh,
at the
yeah.
level we need ranges. What is a CDL driver? Starts at X and ends at X.
Right.
That's the level of detail I think we'd be interested in.
I was going to put that under new business, but there's no need since it's a nice fit right now with
Right.
the report that is occurring in the finance committee. So, okay, we can keep going.
So then, we did receive our first check from Horry County with the road use fee proceeds on October 15th for $539,526. It's a new day for Coast RTA, that rhymes. And it's pretty cool. It was about $2,000 off of what we thought it was gonna be. I think we had $541 in cash requirements, so we'll chalk that up as being right on the money, pun intended. And we will be working, we got funding for the bus stop study from Georgetown County for $53,000. We also got approval for $65,000 to help us work through this FMO transaction with the internationals, the two buses out there that we parked. We really appreciate Georgetown County support as well. We do have an issue, this may have impact cash requirements over the next 30 days or so, 45 days. We are waiting for trams to reopen so we can get our O&M grant for FY19 approved. It has everything in it, it's ready to go. So we're gonna click submit as soon as trams opens, which we're expecting tomorrow.
You might add that trams as the FTA.
Yeah, that is the grant program, the online, the web-based grant program at FTA, Federal Transit Administration. So we still have facility due diligence project out there. I had another consultant in this week interested in that project, so we should have some pretty good interest on that. And the SCDOT bus purchase, that's for the 2 new flyers that we have ordered. That grant is also caught in the tram shutdown purgatory, but it's in there and ready to roll. So and we got extensions on an extension on the bus and bus facilities grant from the state, and that's the grant that we're getting the forklift out of.
How long, we've been talking about this forklift now for 2 years.
I had no idea it takes that long to get a forklift, but it's on order. It should be, I think it was 14 weeks.
You get a bunch of men out there to lift it up.
Yeah, right.
And how about the grant that was going to the new transportation center for a feasibility study and whatnot? That's extended to?
That's this due diligence. So that money sunsets in September of next year. So we've got to get that grant open up this year and get moving on that. So that is the goal.
So September of next year is when we have to have spent all that money?
We have to have it obligated in a grant.
When did we receive that money, Brian?
That's
Been
2013
a while, hasn't it?
timeframe, so yeah, it's been
Yeah.
converted to 5307. It's 800,000.
But having it obligated is much better than having to have it spent.
Right, yeah, no,
Right.
it's just obligated.
So, although it's 1507, that's urban money, it's still designated for the,
Yes,
urban center.
yes. So we will use that money to get us close to what I would call shovel-ready projects.
Mhm.
So that when, another slug of bus and bus facilities money comes out from FTA, we can go after it with a project that we can start constructing tomorrow.
And how about the $200,000 of that we spent? That's not really gonna be relevant anymore, it's too old.
We spent about 77,000 overall, and we've got to start over at this point. I mean, some of that might be relevant, but we're going to be starting over, and we've gotten pledges from our partners to assist us with staff time. City of Myrtle Beach, Horry County, Georgetown County, and Conway.
So that means,
Locations, when you say there's.
Well, no, I mean, they're going to give us staff to help me on selection, and
and,
to be a project committee to help marshal it through.
so if that money needs to be obligated by September 19, when do we start doing RFPs and things like that?
Hopefully, yeah, we get an RFP on the street by the end of the year. So, yeah, the scope is framed. I mean, the way we're looking at evaluating proposals is basically saying, I have $1 million, how are we gonna spend that? And to get me the shovel-ready project. So we'll leave it up to the consultants to really dig down deep as part of the proposal process on what that scope actually is gonna look like.
And is that a reasonable amount of money to get to a shovel-ready project?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll get pretty far down that road. We gotta do site evaluations. We're doing 4 facilities now. We're doing maintenance facility, wherever that lands. We've got passenger facilities here in Conway to replace this one. And then one in Myrtle Beach to replace the IWTC. And one in Georgetown, because we're gonna, have guys down there. We need a better place for them to wait there too. So we're figuring out 4 facilities, site evaluations, figure out what the optimal location is, do some work on finding property to do that, and then getting as far down the environmental / design road as possible to get to shovel ready.
Brian, who's gonna manage that project from our side?
I'm gonna lean on our partners, but it'll probably be Tom Berta,
Okay.
and our partners to manage that, make sure it's moving forward. And
Well, my question really was who in our
who
authority.
besides
so-
me?
Yeah. I was being subtle, but yes.
I gotcha.
A name other than Brian is a good thing.
Right. So,
And does getting shovel-ready, does that include having had public inputs and all that?
there's gonna be some of that. You don't need a lot of public input for siting a maintenance facility, but you do for a passenger handling facility. So
3 of those.
there's something called there's a Title VI assessment that has to be done. They do the benefits and burdens and looking at target populations and things like that. There will be public involvement as a part of those projects for each of the passenger facilities. So those are relatively small, $30,000 to $40,000 projects to get through that process, and we might be able to do them all under one task order.
Do we have any committee meetings between now and the December board meeting?
We're doing everything on December 12th.
Everything?
So there'll be committee meetings and a board meeting on December 12th.
Okay, all right, I wasn't sure.
So,
I see where you got a check back from Burke and Matthew.
yes, sir.
Did we ever get one from Francis?
Well, we didn't get anything from Florence yet. Remember,
I mean,
Matthew was 2 years ago. So if we get a check for Florence in 2 years, we'll be happy.
And we got the airport,
Um,
9,500, right?
Yes, we did. So, yeah, Hurricane Matthew check arrived. I put half of it down on our note at CMB. And then, good segue into CMB. They've agreed to extend our note over there. We're gonna increase our monthly principal payment from $5,000 to $7,500. We'll make additional payments, obviously as part of our goals. That's what we're gonna wanna do. And you will have a board resolution today to agree to that extension. We're gonna just put it out for another year to next December. which is what the bank wanted to do, and we'll readjust next year depending on where we stand, so.
Will you pay it off by the end of it?
Right, I think, yeah, I think that's a really good,
Yeah.
I'm really appreciative of that. Have you all, and Ron, thought about timeline for when you think, given the increase in actually throwing as much extra you have added, do you have a timeline when you think that may be paid off?
Well, I mean, I think, I guess the true answer to that is not yet. We still want to see kind of where we're headed on expenses, but obviously first opportunity we have, we'll put more down. And I can't remember what we put in the goals, but
I don't, the third year had a big balloon payment of 200,000,
Yeah.
so the short term, I don't see it slipping a lot.
at the very least, I mean, I think the timing might be the same, but that balloon payment should be a lot smaller.
Yeah.
If, is kind of where we're at now, and if we can do better than that, we will.
But even with the increased monthly payment, the balloon payment will be some less.
Yes, it will be, about 30,000 less.
Okay, any other,
Joe, does that
So
answer
that
your
was-
question?
Yeah.
So that's it until we talk about financials, which, unless there's any questions on that, we can, I can dive right in, Marvin.
let's go right into financials then.
Yeah, absolutely.
So really, and the biggest discussion point about September financials was the impact of the hurricane. And while the hurricane had a detrimental impact on our fare revenue, because we didn't operate service for 5 days, and then we were only on limited service for another 10 days, I think. So there was an impact of 11 or 12 days, I guess, total. So we did not recoup. I mean, we only had 22,000 in fare recovery in September. But it did help us on the expense side to the tune of about 46 to 50,000. And so that actually lined things up a little bit better.
Because you didn't have driver expenses?
Right, for the end of the year. We did spend a lot on vacation / PTO. Obviously, drivers were allowed to fill in the gaps of no service by using vacation or PTO. So we did have pretty big line item numbers for that. And we helped a few do temporary unemployment.
This PTO is paid time off, so it's people that were not driving but still getting paid because they had accrued vacation time. Now, we've already made a commitment to pay that down anyway, so this just gave us an opportunity to pay it a little bit quicker.
Yeah, we have a lot left over in our liability for accrued vacation. We're trying to bring that down a little bit. So then, the other thing that we did, sort of late in the meeting, is we decided, at Ron's request, to move some budget around to kind of clean up the income statement. And you'll see that this version has much less red on it than the one before, but I will assure you that
Heather, that's page 2 of these financials.
that the version that we sent out was a little different from this because I forgot to update the income statement notes because some of these percentages changed. Those have been updated, and you will see that the budget review page on page 5, those percentages haven't changed. So all we did was move money within departments. So if we were moving money, we did it within administration and didn't move anything out or into administration, operations, or maintenance. So you'll see that those numbers remained where they're at. So we don't really need anything from the board on this. We're calling it an adjustment. Obviously, there's no change in overall budget. I think it really what it does for me more than anything else is it highlights the 2 areas where we had our biggest issues, which are fuel, for obvious reasons, and legal and professional.
Well, I agree with Ron. The auditors get here, there's less, we could explain everything with the variances, but it's cleaner, there's less questions they'll ask. Ron had a good idea.
Right.
I hope you're listening, Ron.
First time for everything.
I'm listening. I'm thinking more long-term of the publication of the audit report that goes out to all of our funders. Sea Red doesn't look good with very minor tweaks, less than 20 grand, all within, they're just budget reclasses within categories. we eliminated 12 of 14 negative variances just by, reallocating some of the budget funds, which, again, the audit report is more of a permanent document. It's one of the few things the public actually sees that we produce from a financial standpoint. So I am much more comfortable with 2 negative variances in the expense line items than 14. And like Brian said, the adjustments to get there were very minor. So yeah, I'm very pleased with it just because of that fact that it does get disseminated to the public.
Right, and in 3 years, when nobody remembers exactly what went on,
Yeah.
it won't raise questions when we're in triennial and things like that.
It'll have Ron's name on it also.
It'll have Ron's name, it'll be his fault. We're always looking for the scapegoat. So that's, unless there's any questions, this was actually a small part of the finance committee meeting at this point. It's pretty clean. I think in future finance committee meetings, we do need to continue our discussions on budget and how we're moving forward on FY19. But we're in FY19 now, heading down the road. Marvin, do you have anything to add? He's on mute again.
Marvin?
Turn off your mute, Margaret. Are you back?
Just, as we get into finance later, our budget for the year we're in was developed prior to Florence. I don't know how, we had some, I don't know if it's significant enough that we need to revisit that, but we'll get into the finance committee.
It's, it has a slight effect in how much we pulled in federal funds, which don't hit until October, but we earn them in September. So from a
So
books
it'd be-
perspective,
okay.
it's not a huge deal.
Okay,
So, there's $36,000 in hurricane expenses out there that, we're gonna hopefully recoup
but after
in
$5 million,
in 2 years.
Have we moved along on the international buses?
We have not. I'm still, the ball's in FTA's court. They brought in the FMO consultant that was doing the FMO to help figure out, the transaction. I think my idea in principle has been accepted. They actually came up with math that works in our favor. So I think right now they're convincing the CFO at the regional office, at FTA's regional office on this. So I think it's a little bit of outside the box thinking, so that's always tough for bureaucrats to handle.
And it's an old issue too.
Yeah, well, we have older issues they don't seem to care about, but we're gonna get this straight, and we're gonna get a couple vehicles out of it that will help us from a service perspective, so that's a good thing.
And why are we still running a trolley on the north?
We have a lot of buses down out there. We still have the one that had the accident in July that's still sitting out there, and so we just needed them to make pull-out.
they run 15 south too.
Yeah.
Let's go down Market
We've
Common.
got like 5 full-size buses down right now, so they're working. They're working for assortment of reasons, you name it.
And that brand new bus that got hit, or was we just got in an accident, you can't get that moved along?
They have some issues with straightening out the frame, so that's where it's at right now, so it's gonna be a while.
Is that the one from Foley's Island?
So there's a buckling in the floor, that, they're trying to figure
And
out.
that's
So
one
we
of
may
our
have
new-
to send it back to,
That's our
Flyer.
new bus, one of our new
Yes,
buses.
yes, ma'am.
So that's not being depreciated at all by the FTA, that's off the books right now?
Yeah, that won't be an issue, but
Yeah,
it's, we just want it fixed right.
yeah.
And so they're looking at the possibility of cutting portions of the frame out and redoing it, so,
So that's an
It's-
Alabama
it's-
issue or?
yeah, we might be sending it back to, actually Minnesota.
Did they pick it up or do you have to take it?
Well, it's in Florence right now at a truck frame, company.
So they have to tow it?
They towed it up there, yeah, it doesn't run, and the
I
whole
know,
nose
but-
cone is taken off of it.
But
so.
I mean, to get it to wherever you
You
have.
put it on a flatbed.
So you take the tires off and use that.
And we pay for that too? Or do they
Well,
pay
it's
for
coming
it?
out of insurance,
Oh, insurance, right, right.
but,
yeah.
It's still a key part of our assets
And then it's
that are
sitting
sitting
out
there
there.
not helping us at
And
all.
we need it, and we need
Yeah.
it.
I've been being facetious though, so if we spend all that money on tires, we could put retreads on the one going up there.
Yeah, it might have retreads on it already, so
Oh,
the front
okay.
tires are taken off, so.
All right.
Okay,
It's not a huge
moving on.
Did you have anything to add on financials, Marvin?
Not really, I just had a question about, just, audit schedule. So have we sort of set some dates and, looked at doing
Yeah, we actually have two audits. We have the state coming on December 5th, I think, 4th or 5th, that first week of December.
December 4th, yeah.
And so that is a 3-year look on everything related to our rural program, 5311. So we have that coming up. It was rescheduled from the week of the hurricane. And then the single audit folks, the doing the FY18 are coming the first week of January. The 7th, I think, Ron, is that right?
14th, they're coming the 14th.
Okay, second week of January. We have Mike Levitan coming in next week to help us shore up all our numbers, and I'm pretty confident that Ron and his folks will be ready to roll in January. You know, the deadline is the end of March, so we shouldn't have any issues. You know, we kind of, this is year 3 now, so I think we kind of got a good handle on it.
Good.
So we're gonna sound cocky and over
Is
confident.
that good for you, Marvin?
I'm gonna count, not remain eternally pessimistic, but it looks good other than, we're gonna need to rewrite our payroll procedures before they show up, since they've changed dramatically now that we're, more electronic than paper-based, so we gotta get a little bit better handle on that, but I think we can do that before the state shows up, we should be okay.
Marvin, have you got those dates down now?
Yeah, so, I would say the same thing every year, it looks like it'd be good, but, I go, but,
Do you know who Mike Levitan is? All right, you want to tell her who Mike is?
He when I first got here, he came in as our interim CFO. He's a former VP of Finance at DART in Dallas.
That's
A friend of mine. And so we've kind of kept him on as a sort of a contract employee to help clean things up from a financial perspective. So we really appreciate his help.
We have gone ahead, by the way, and appointed Heather on the Finance Committee and Randall on the Services Committee, so.
okay, perfect.
And I'll have a copy of all the committees and who's on them for everybody before you leave.
Okay, moving on.
So
Thank you.
I think that concludes the committee reports. What's
Cash
next?
requirements look okay?
Yeah, we're in good shape. We're gonna keep an eye on it, obviously, with the 5307 grant. And the nice thing is, we weren't expecting federal dollars coming in September, because we've already spent last year's grant. And when this thing hits, we'll be able to go retroactive to October 1st, and make draws for operating and preventive maintenance costs.
Sure. Our next point of anxiety is November 30th.
We need those draws to occur like that, like by the end of that first week in December. And at this point, they should. There's no reason why they won't. And the nice thing is, once it's approved, it's immediately available. You can draw it and get the money the next day. So it's a much smoother process than the rural program at the state.
And again, we do have a resolution that needs the signature relative to the CMB loan. It is on the agenda as well.
And Mr. Chair, I do not have a general manager's report. I don't have anything to add to what we've done on the.
Wow, let it be noted.
So I hope that's okay.
We got it early today.
Let's call up Heather's
I
mom.
think that's money, to be honest
So
with you.
adjust the time
I
frame.
like all this, this is very good.
Thank you. That's the nicest thing you've ever said.
I don't think so.
No, probably not. Probably not. It's not. I was just joking.
Listen, with the parades and all coming up for Christmas, if you got trouble with having buses, we'll take a couple cars. Your cars are all marked up.
It's a van.
We're good.
You
We're
good?
Yeah, but it's just, it
I
goes
don't
in
wanna make-
cycles.
I don't wanna make
It goes
it
in cycles.
difficult.
We got 2 buses they're getting new engines right now,
Oh,
so,
okay.
so they'll be up and running and we'll be fine, so it's all
And
good.
did
So
you-
I will mention, Michelle wanted me to mention that we do have parades scheduled. Did you hand this out to everybody, or is this
No,
just
that's
me?
your schedule.
You wanna go through it?
So much for no general manager's report.
Well, this, I was gonna
Well,
do new business.
Either that or
so-
it was gonna be new business,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah, she's passing it out just for a couple of the new people. Expensive, you said two new engines, they're about $35,000 each. And these new buses are $430,000. I was blown away how much stuff costs in
the
transit.
two new ones will be $447.
And the trolleys are even more.
No,
But-
cheaper.
But
Huh?
as I mentioned,
I
the
thought
two
they were
buses
more.
are replacing two
Oh,
dark
they're
buses, which is cool.
I thought the trolleys were more.
No.
Trolleys are in the high 300s,
Oh, okay.
especially for what we would need, low floor
Yeah,
They're not cheap.
type of vehicles.
yeah.
All right,
But
I
they don't last as long as the buses. They
Now, when they're supposed to be 12-year buses, but they typically, they have too many.
I'm gonna suggest we amend the agenda so that in the event that there is an executive session, we will do it after old business and new business, so that we can then plunge into old and new. Before we do Michelle's new business, Bernie, do you have anything on your usual Bernie list that represents old business?
Seriously?
All right,
Run
good.
that down.
All right. Lightning strikes twice. Okay. Well, new business, Miss Michelle.
Okay,
Will you-
since we will not have a board meeting or a true committee meeting prior to basically the parade weekend, I wanted to bring this to everyone's attention, that we'll be participating in Dolores Parade this year, and that is Friday, November the 30th. It is a night parade, so everything will be lit. We'll light up the trolley, including the walkers. We'll all have lights for safety purposes. So that, if your schedule allows, we would welcome any of you to participate. We can't throw candy, so as Ms. Lily Jean knows, we have satchels that we wear, and we hand candy out to the crowds.
Great.
Saturday morning, the 1st, will be our Georgetown Parade, and Saturday afternoon, the Pilot Club participates in the North Myrtle Beach Parade, and normally we meet at the Lowe's,
Yes,
and we
Lowe's.
line up at the 2nd Avenue Hillside
At 4 PM
at 4,
at
okay?
those.
I know, okay, so I'm checking what gets at 3:30, so I was just going by what the application said.
Okay.
So,
Right.
And then Sunday afternoon is the Andrews Parade. That is also at the same time that the Merle's Inlet Parade is going on, but Andrews was huge last year. We ran out of candy, and we decided that we would do that again this year. So we don't do a lot of service in Andrews, but it's huge. They come out, they love us. And then what's really fun is they have hot chocolate and Santa Claus immediately after. So it's always a fun time. So those are the four parades that we're doing this year with the Pilot Club included.
Right.
All in one weekend.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Now, we
So,
have 3 candidates for Santa Claus. We now have Brian, we have Mr. Wilson, we have Randall, all of whom would look very nice.
You're not allowed,
You're not allowed to
you're
do
not
Santa
allowed
Claus.
to do
Santa
it.
Claus.
You're not allowed to have a Santa Claus
No.
in the parade because they have one at the end of the parade.
Exactly.
And you'll confuse the children if they
Oh,
see
the
one
poor
with
little
Santa Claus.
critters.
so no one's allowed to be Santa.
The poor little critters, who
We
wants
have-
to
We
screw up their
line up
minds?
to lose.
However, just let me know if any of you are interested in riding the
There's
trolley.
rides
You do not
in
have
the-
to walk.
in this.
You're more than welcome to ride the trolley or the cutaway, whatever we end up putting in the parade. And we'll coordinate with you the pickup time and the location. So
How about Santa's helper?
you can definitely be Santa's helper. We have, like I said, candy's already ordered, it's already shipped. We have the satchels, we have the lights, it'll be fun.
When was the Conway Parade down?
We don't do the Conway Parade because they charge us almost $200 to be in it.
Really?
They did what?
Yeah, we've been paying all that time, so we stopped
Oh, that's
several years ago.
They're used to, aren't they?
That's
No,
right.
they don't waive it.
I only pay 25, and I pay for it myself.
They're run by Scrooge.
That is their fundraiser for the chamber now, so they don't waive it for anyone.
We've been in the.
Everyone else waives it for us because we're a government agency.
17 years.
All right.
No,
Anything
no,
else in
North
new
Myrtle
business?
Beach, because I represent.
Yes, yes.
No,
I just.
Oh, wait, oh, we do have.
we need to do a resolution.
But our
But we have a new business as well, though. Ms. Lynette, can you remind us of the holiday
But we have some more.
event?
Yes, we have
You wanna
our,
do that?
I sent out to everyone, but our Thanksgiving dinner that we usually have here,
We, you know what it does?
Wait, let's get this.
Sorry.
She's trying to recruit me.
our Thanksgiving lunch, that we normally have and we always invite our board is November 15th. And then our, holiday party is this, I don't remember the date for it, do you?
December.
15th,
I think it's
Saturday night.
December 15th?
Yeah.
Okay. So keep in mind and just let me know if you'd like to come to the Thanksgiving luncheon. We like to just kind of know who's coming.
All right, me too.
Okay.
I plan on coming. I'll probably give you $5, you don't want the cooking, so
Well,
I
I
make a donation.
I have to give you, I give you 10. I'm dragging someone with me. He doesn't know it yet though.
And then, I sent you the flyer for the Christmas, our Christmas get-together, so it's got the pricing and everything
You
on
did
it,
that.
so
We
just.
we got that. We
Hope
got
he
both
doesn't
of those
watch the
flyers.
televised version of this.
I think I'm the only one, probably two. I print all these out. It's on the refrigerator door.
I will send you reminders,
Christmas.
so don't worry about
What
that.
is the
December
Christmas
15th.
one?
And you can stay
What is the
overnight
date
at
on
the
that?
Yes,
Sheraton.
and it's
December
gonna be,
15th at the convention
it's gonna
center.
be at the
December
Sheraton.
15th.
Yes, sir.
And they're allowing a
December
block of
15th.
rooms for anyone who wants to stay over for $49, no, $59 a night.
Went up $10.
You're responsible for your own reservation and paying for your own room. But
And it
I
has
would-
to be done by, there's an early date on it.
Yeah, and the
November.
date is on that.
Yeah, it's an early date too,
Yeah.
but the first
It's
week or
before the
so.
end of November.
I thought it was the first
Well,
week.
they've started sending me every week, they send me a list of dates that are blocked out, that we
The room's
can't make
nice
any
there?
reservations.
The room's nice, have you been there?
The rooms are nice.
The rooms are excellent.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
Yes.
I've never been there.
I lived there
Good
for
deal.
at least a
Oh,
couple
you
of years
did?
before I moved into.
Oh, well, I'm gonna go
Longer term
there, that
digs.
way I don't have to wander around the
Mhm.
parking lot at night.
The rooms are nice, and on Sunday morning, Vidalia's has a wonderful breakfast.
Really? Oh, that's good.
The food is really good,
Noah
so
like that as long as he can eat.
we hope you'll come and join us for a fun night.
Are you performing?
No. Cupcakes have done their last tour.
That was some performance.
Are you a singer, dancer?
They're
Oh,
A novelty act.
Oh,
It was-
okay, okay.
it was fun.
Okay.
They're the Andrews sisters.
Oh, okay.
Was me, Candace,
Well, she probably doesn't know
Pamela,
who the Andrews sisters are.
and Erica. And we were Diana Ross and the Supremes.
Oh,
And we
awesome.
lip synced and had on red dresses,
Yeah.
and it was
Oh,
fun. We
that's
had a
so
ball.
All right, let's move on to authorization, our motion to approve.
Yakima Regional Transportation Authority, resolution number October 2018-16, authorization to extend existing short-term loan.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve this
So moved.
resolution? And is there a second? Are there any questions about this? Hopefully, we're getting closer to paying this off. This is extending through December 6th of 2019. And I'm happy to note that the payment on this note is increasing from $5,000 to $7,500 a month. Thank you, Ryan. That makes me feel better. And we'd like to get this paid down as quickly as we can.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions or any questions, comments? All right, all those in favor of authorization October 2018-16, authorization to extend existing short-term loan. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And opposed, please say nay. The motion carries. I'm going to sign it and send it around.
Yeah, I'm dropping in, sorry. Stay out,
Okay.
get over there.
All right, thank you, Marvin. Don't sign it Darrell Board the way you signed your name on the sign up. We know that you're sometimes bored, but we still want to know if you have a last name.
At least he didn't spell it B-O-R-E-D.
No, he didn't. All right, do we have any other business for the good of the order? No? Could I have
I
a-
did have one thing,
No
Yes, sir.
executive session.
on the
Oh,
evaluation.
yes.
On the evaluation, Brian evaluation, we need to get that in, we're behind time on that.
Right.
And we need to, we have the evaluation here.
Right.
I passed it out, and we need to have these filled up with the next meeting,
Okay.
ready to go in the
Well,
next
that's
meeting.
December 12th.
So do you want
You want them
them,
sent back?
you want them
or what?
prior to the meeting
You
or
want them
after
sent
the
to you?
meeting?
You can bring them to the meeting.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
all right.
Okay, and when you lose it, as some of you will, Ms. Lynette will send you another
I'll be glad
copy.
to send you one.
Why don't you just, when you come home, make a copy of it, that way you have two
Because
copies.
then you would lose both copies. This works
Yeah.
better, we depend on Mother.
Heather, you don't get one because you just got here. So. How long have you been on board,
This is my second meeting, I think.
when?
I think this is my second.
Yeah.
I think it's your third meeting.
Third, you've been here a while.
Yeah,
I don't think you need to fill out one item, but, you need to be here a
I do
year.
not mind being excluded.
Well, the two people,
I don't wanna
the
give
two
my
people that
opinion
were
if I'm
gonna give them
not-
100% are
Educated
told they
enough.
don't have to fill it out. Did you notice that, Brian?
Which is bad for me, because I think they would give me a good
I
rating.
know, I just said
Well,
that.
they-
Oh, yeah. I get
Maybe.
I said that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I've been very
They haven't
cordial,
really been here long.
been very cordial.
You have been.
That's all they get. And Mr. Joe,
Now, what
I
about
got
the
you one.
facts on your,
Brian, that
I
big
got-
payoff you offered was
on
for
your
naught.
information?
Yes.
Brian,
All
What about
right,
the facts
Oh, he's
on
got one,
your information on your
not
goals?
hearing any other
What's gonna-
news.
They said, they gave that to us.
Yeah, we got that
We
last
have that,
month.
we have that last month.
We are
This is what it looks like.
adjourned.
Now, wait a minute, I thought you had an executive session.
Do you want to, do we
Okay.
do?
No, we do not need an executive session.
Okay.
Oh, 120.
No, we're doing great.
It's the fastest meeting in my tenure, I
It
think.
was given out
We
last
didn't have a general
time.
manager's
I
report.
guess that's the key, huh? You don't have anything to say.
Well, they couldn't make any questions.
Yeah, I got it right here. Okay, here it is right here.
see what it was.
It says FY 17-18 accomplishments.
Have we got a copy of that?
Yes, you got last month, oh,
He's lost his.
he needs copies. They need
So
copies.
when you send out
Make
a,
copies, I'll
They
make
need,
email. Mail
I
or-
lost mine.
Yeah, on that.
Billy Jean needs a copy.
I'll make a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Brian sent that out, an email, and, I was looking at it, did you put all the things you accomplished last year
Send out an email.
from your list?
I didn't, you know, I don't, trying to think if I went back, I don't think I ever found what our goals were.
Right, we had asked you to cross-reference the two goals.
I'll go back and do that real quick. and
Yeah,
Yes.
because
find it.
that's,
Lynette said
that's,
she had a copy of it.
that's what we,
You have a copy of it?
That's what we evaluate
If
around.
you could send it to me, I'd appreciate it, because I couldn't find it.
It was,
It would have been in May, June of 17 timeframe.
Yeah, I have that, I have
yeah,
that.
that's what we evaluating, so.
Yes, all right, I'll put that together for you and,
I'll look when I get home and send it if I have.
Was this
You want me
sent,
to just,
was this
let
sent
you
by
copy?
email, these
Yeah.
goals? Did you send it by email?
copies of
I
the
don't know.
goals.
I
the old
copied
goals or the-
everything. I
She's
have,
doing the ones that I wrote for
I
you guys.
sent you people, I don't
I don't
even
know
know
if
if
she
you
knows
look at your
exactly where it is.
emails.
So, we'll look for it today
I
and
check on mine, but I
I'll,
wasn't here for that.
either update that or send you
No.
something else that kind
No,
of
you
talks
weren't
about
on
how we
there.
did on
No.
those goals.
All right. The gavel is already rung, so you all are sitting here on your own time now.
You ever think we ever turn this off?
Yeah, I don't know how to do
Please.
that. I've tried twice.
Then you can say what you want.
Yeah, I'm not that kind of chair.
Yeah, we can talk about
I
it.
blurted it out right in the middle of the table.
I haven't signed a resolution yet.
That's why
It's
they have to
coming
go
around.
through-
Oh,
That's why
coming
they go
around.
through it and have to take everything out of it.
No, I did research on that, and we do
Who
not,
bought that clock?
you know, bring it up to Brian.